I know. It's a little tough.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. How about yourself?
Well, trying to figure all this out, right? Welcome to the podcast. You are the original guest. Actually, I take that back. My daughter was the first guest. So that's the first official guest. James. Last name?
Davis.
I will forget names constantly, so I'm gonna be
Good.
constantly kind of asking people over time to kind of go over why we're having the conversation. But in reality, that's why I wanted to do this, like to have a conversation with you. I think everything you guys are doing is incredible work. Like it just seems such an interesting thing. Like we were discussing earlier, like not a big soccer background, but I've always been fascinated by it, and I'm fascinated like how you've kind of progressed in your timeline, and the things that you're doing just intrigue me. So maybe just a little bit of a background on like you working with FC Monmouth and kind of like what's been going on.
Yeah, totally. So I guess I can introduce myself. My name is James Davis. I am technical titles general manager. I like to joke it's a lot more than general. It's a bit of everything.
Sure.
So pretty much in this
Welcome to marketing.
Yes, exactly, right? So in
That's
this day and age, it's really anything from all of our player administration and signings, all of our partnerships, like you said, all of our marketing, our game day operations, all of our relationships, the finances. There's a lot of things that people don't realize. It's not just, oh, hey, we're throwing a team out on the field, show up, come back for practice the next day or two, and go on with our day. There's a lot more that goes on to it, especially at this level in comparison to any other kind of places.
When you say this level, what does that mean? Like, so coming as a casual fan, I have Red Bull background, but basically forced into it with friends that you just want to go have a couple beers and be crazy and have fun. And it was I think it was around Henri days.
Good times right in the stadium.
Marching to the stadium, but once that connection left the country, he went back to Ireland, kind of just faded away. And I always wanted to keep up with it, but I wasn't such an enthusiast that I can't speak upon it.
Yeah.
I wish I could. But when you say that level, what do you mean by that?
It's an interesting situation, and soccer in the U.S. isn't like anywhere else in the world. So pretty much where we stand is you have your Red Bull, so that's MLS. That's the top tier of U.S. soccer currently. And then there's two levels below that. So there's USL Championship, which is the level below, USL League One, which is there, and then there's MLS Next Pro, which is like the second team of all the MLS teams in that third tier. So FC Monmouth sits in the fourth tier. It's still a national league. We're competing against teams across the country, but at the same time, we are semi-professional. We're the highest level of semi-pro in the U.S., but our players all hold amateur status. So we're still representing Monmouth County nationwide. So it's pretty cool to be able to say. We've had our men's team since 2017. It was launched. 2018 was our first season. And then we just recently launched our women's team last year. They competed in unaffiliated kind of friendlies last year, and then they're an expansion team, the WPSL this year, which is the largest women's soccer league in the world.
Yeah,
so
I think that's such an important thing to define too, because there's so much going on in the growth of women's sports, and to have something so local and so moving, like to have the energy going in Monmouth County. It's like I'm calling the podcast Hey Monmouth County. That's like stuff that I want to highlight, like, hey, Monmouth County, like pay attention to this. It's a cool thing that's happening.
Totally.
And that's why I wanted to have the conversation with you. And I just find it fascinating. And I know you said earlier that you don't really want to focus on yourself, but you want to focus on the club, but I will blow you up a little bit. I'm fascinated, like, at your young age and all the things you've accomplished. I was looking at there was a LinkedIn post about and you're still in graduate school.
Just graduated as of 2 days ago.
Yeah. Oh, so. Congratulations, man! That's fantastic. What was the
an MBA? I wrapped up one, and so I had my undergrad in sport management from UMass Amherst, and then I worked at the University of Rhode Island while grabbing a MBA at the same time. So
that's fantastic.
There's a lot of driving back and forth.
I was going to say,
here in Rhode Island. Yeah, so it was working 2-3 jobs. It's all about the hustle.
Courses or anything?
Some of it was online, but I still had my job during the day. It's, again, kind of just talking about like when I say this level of like fourth tier U.S. soccer, this isn't this isn't full-time pay. This is, I joke, I pay to be a volunteer, you know, and everything that we do at our club is volunteer ran, whether it's all the way down from your kind of intern staff that are college students that we're able to give opportunities to get real life experience.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Towards what they're doing, all the way up to our ownership group, you know.
Sure.
We're really able to attract really talented players, and we're able to support our coaching staffs with salaries and things like that, as they should be. But aside from that, everybody is putting in their hard work, time, blood, sweat, and tears, all just because it's the love of the game.
I have to be upfront and transparent. It's what I want to do with this podcast, the pod. You know, just that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big undertaking, and it's interesting. Like, it's always like takes a village kind of thing with families, but then you see organizations like this come along, or, you know. So you said, when was the establishment? When was like the first?
So it was launched in 2017.
2017.
Yeah. So the basic backstory is, it's really
survived COVID.
Yeah, it survived COVID. So it was pretty much a bunch of guys playing pickup soccer over in Sickles Park, right down the road from where we're recording this. We said, hey, let's get together and make a team. Why can't we do this? So around 2016, 2017, there was a lot of it kind of soccer at this level kind of exploded, and there was a lot of teams that launched and were really successful. And I was just a fan. I was a young kid, just kind of going to games, just watching along.
Did you play soccer when you were younger?
I did play growing up. I joke I could have been a D3 warrior if I wanted to, but I went to UMass, so I decided to go to a bigger state school and really obviously get my learning experience. I'll say that on camera for my parents, but enjoy a college experience as well, I would say. So
worth it.
Yeah, totally.
It is. I know, I feel like, you know, I could go on a whole rant about changes in education structure, things like that, and like certifications, like the different things that are out there, but nothing really beats, you know, being at the campus and like being hands-on with everything. It's pretty fantastic. Mm-hmm. So how did that process go? Like, when I'm not sure if you touched upon it earlier, like, when did you start with the organization?
Yeah, so it was a post-COVID thing. So COVID, that was that initial March. The season runs typically from late April all the way through July. So you're looking at about 3.5 months, really.
Sure.
It's the ongoing joke I say is we start planning August 1st for something that doesn't happen till 8-9 months later. Yeah. It's crazy. It's a year-round operation for 3 months out of the year. But with that, I was, again, just studying kind of your standard sport management. I'll joke, everybody kind of pushes like get into ticket sales, just work your way up, hustle, whatever. I just tried to follow that route, got rejected by a few people, and I was like, screw this. Like, I thought I was just a shoo-in to get anything, and I didn't realize how competitive everything was.
Everything's competitive.
I grew up just being a little kid, just trying to get better at sports, and I would go play pickup with the big guys, with the adults. So I had known these guys that are a part of the ownership group of the team for years now.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
What we can do to help out. And that first year, it was a really big kind of learning experience for me, just being your standard water boy to helping out on game days. And we made the conference final that first year and almost made it to pretty much the regional final if we had won that game. So I don't want to say that that's what hooked me. If we had a bad season, it might not have. So we were really successful that first year, and it was a ton of fun. And I kind of went to them and said, is there any way I can help out further and really kind of gain more experience? And I kind of roped myself in, and here we are 3-4 years later.
So let me bug you a little bit further. How do you get title general manager?
Yeah.
With like how things, like, it seems like you took on, and I'm not like downplaying it all. It seems like you took on a lot of responsibility and were like highlighted for it.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate obviously the recognition and things like that. It's been a while since.
Yeah, I'm not like braggy.
No.
But it's like when I met you the first, like, we met each other through the chambers.
Yeah.
Both of us are both part of both Monmouth chambers. Mm-hmm. You know, my organization, my small startup being in Freehold, and you know, you're doing the whole Monmouth region. But like, I felt like we had a connection right off the bat, and like, you had a great story, and the club has a great story and like a pretty booming history for 7-8 years now, whatever it's been.
It's crazy.
And, you know, we're definitely going to talk about some of the other things that are going on, but like, I just wanted to start there and kind of get a general sense of like, well, it's hard to do everything in a chamber meeting or meeting somebody for even one or two times. Mm-hmm. But I felt like, hey, having this conversation with you, we could really kind of bring out the best of what the organization's doing and what's next for the club.
A lot of things.
Yeah,
that's for sure. That's for sure.
It for a while.
Yeah. But no, I mean, on the topic of really kind of how it all came about, I guess I would just say I saw an opportunity, I guess I would say, of, okay, we're doing a lot of great things, but there's a chance to take it to the next level, and I would like to say that we've been able to do that within the past 2-3 years.
Yeah.
We've kind of grown again.
It's definitely making a name.
Yeah.
It's like I'm starting to see like the design seems very crisp, like, your media and like you said before, I don't know if we really talked about it on air, but like the interns doing all the work that they're doing, and like it's very noticeably on point.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean that's coming from the marketing website and stuff of it, I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I should talk to this guy.
Yeah, we've made a bigger push over the last year to really kind of invest a little bit more in our social media presence, and we've kind of reaped the rewards, I would say. There's some peers kind of in the industry or the leagues that you want to call it that really advocate for themselves, and they go out and they say, we have colleagues in California and Napa Valley, upstate New York, or Michigan, and all these people are doing such great jobs in their communities, and the point that they try to make is we're the public billboard for the community. We have such a great opportunity to really display different stories through sport, and that's something that people don't even realize. Our social channels just reached, I think they just reached 1 million interactions within the past 3 months. So it was a big milestone for us. It's something
I saw you did there's like it's not like a commercial. I don't want to like downplay it that, but you had the one player highlighted and you had the jersey that had like player name on the back.
Yeah. So that was our jersey launch. That was really fun. Yeah, so that was a fun shoot. We do a jersey launch.
I wasn't sure about pushing away the New Yorker, Pennsylvania. Yeah. We won't use the word.
Yeah.
But, I was like, but but Monmouth County being Monmouth County,
totally.
Like I grew up in Union County. I was in Ocean and Brick for years and years and years. Worked in Lakewood for a long time, Tom's River, so I know all those areas. Being in Monmouth County, like it just feels refreshing, and like when the summertime months kind of clear out, like we used to live right next to Point Pleasant, so it was like, all right, now it's our season.
It dies. It's crazy.
Whereas here it's amazing to me. The next day, it's like ghost town and peaceful, and not that it's hectic, but there's a lot of people that come down.
I joke I was driving down to Belmar the other day, and it was the first whatever day that hit 80 degrees, and I'm like, oh, I gotta add 15 minutes to my drive now.
Yeah, so let's talk about the season. I know with edits, and we're gonna really try to push some things with this cast. We might be getting into June, but I know some good things are happening with the club.
Yeah.
What's the season like? Like how you just started? What was the start date? This past Saturday, right?
So the past Saturday of this time of this recording, so it was in the second week of May. We had our second regular season game of our men's season, which was our home opener. And then the women's team hasn't so much kicked off yet. They're a little bit later into May that they start. So their home openers on May 31st. This comes out after. I hope they did good.
We'll see if I can push it a little bit. I'm still learning as I go.
But yeah, so we're right in the thick of it. So pretty much our kind of a regular timeline, I guess I would say, is our schedule comes out in late February, early March. And then from there, it's, okay, what can we do to make this fun?
Yeah.
I like to joke that we're a soccer team providing a minor league baseball experience. So we do theme nights for all 10 of our home games each year. There's some cool ones to highlight are just this past weekend, we had our wellness awareness night where we were able to bring in over 10 different groups from across Monmouth County that are providing resources for the community that people don't know about. We did a pre-match.
Make sure you give me the list of that so I can highlight that as a part of the...
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we did a pre-match clinic with Rally Cap based out of Middletown, who do sports programs for children and young adults with special needs with the players. It was the coolest thing ever. And I not joke, but I say, like, I get pretty emotional during the games. I'm not an emotional person, but I obviously will get a little emotional if we win. Like it's awesome, and I didn't get emotional during this game, which was surprising because considering how eventful it was. And then I get home probably 2-3 hours after it's over and immediately watch the live stream again. And I'm watching the live stream. It's like 1 a.m. and
well, plug that while you're thinking about it. What's the live stream?
It's all on YouTube. So we are played on National Soccer Network. So we're up in a few bars in the area, a few areas that really kind of support us. Our partners are a big part of supporting the club. I'll shout out Amici Pizzeria in Atlantic Highlands. They play our games when they're over. House of Chong in Middletown, they play our games. They have a really awesome bar. So again, without the support of our
partners,
tag
them in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
once we get this thing out there.
But anyways, I was back watching the live stream. It's like 1 a.m. and like one of the players that was at that clinic before like commented on one of our posts and was like, "Thank you so much for having me. Like it was really awesome." And I'm getting emotional right now just thinking about that. I'm not in this for money. I'm not in this for any kind of just trying to win and say that I do the coolest thing on earth. It sucks because, again, getting back to that point that I said about planning in August for something that happens in April.
Yeah.
When you're staying up till 1, 2, 3 a.m. planning something in September and you don't get to reap the reward of it until May now, it sucks. But now we're here and I'm on cloud 9.
It's got to feel good.
Just seeing the smiles on the kids, all their faces, there's no price that you could put on that. So it's something that we really kind of embody and embrace. And getting back to the point about just really kind of providing that experience, it's something that we like to do that separates ourselves from other teams in the area. Pretty much every team will do your standard kind of, you get to walk out with the players and kind of sit in the stands, and that's great and all. It's providing an experience, and it's something every team should be doing, but we really like to take it to the next level. So we do. You get a mini ball toss. You get the kids in the stands. We're trying to get a T-shirt cannon. We do T-shirt tosses. It's all fun stuff like that. I'll shout out Just Sports Training right here. They're our community training partner. They host birthday parties and clinics and stuff like that. So they have the blow-up soccer balls that you get in and you bounce your friends around. So we do that at halftime of the game, and it was awesome. The kids aren't even going for the ball; they're just trying to knock their buddy over. But things like that, it's fun.
Genuine joy.
It's genuine joy, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
that's the other thing too. Like I just from meeting you at these events and just talking with you, like even our text back and forth just to get this thing kind of accomplished today. Like I got that vibe. I got the vibe that. Right off the bat that this is kind of like what this organization was trying to do, and giving back. I come from a big nonprofit background, so like giving back to the community is like my biggest thing, and just finding ways to help people in need and that kind of thing. And there's a different version of it of like providing that need of that joy and excitement for the sport that is growing. How do you think everything's going in Monmouth County? Like how's the reach going? Like do you think you're getting I didn't really know a lot about it before I met you.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just
totally.
I didn't know.
It's something that I hear almost every day, and every single person that I can add on to and educate about it, that's a win for me. I joke if we average 600 people a game, that's let's see, Monmouth County is just over 600,000 people. So that's only a small chunk of a huge potential that we have. So it's really just trying to get out there, get in the community, support other people in the areas. Something successful that we found is we're successful in the youth demographic, so we bring the youth clubs out to the games.
The youth program,
So we offer different programs for youth clubs in the area to be able to come to our games, whether it's you're wearing your jersey, so you get in for free. Tickets are as cheap as $10 for adults, $5 for kids if you're not affiliated to a youth team or program. And then we also last year launched, and we did it with a few organizations, a ticket donation program. So we donate 30% of adult ticket proceeds back to certain organizations that sign up to the program.
Nice.
So we're able to give back to youth clubs and nonprofits and things like that want to take advantage of our services. It's just people needing to know about what we do.
Yeah.
And again, I'll admit straight up that we don't do a good job of it as much as we should, considering how much we do, So
I might disagree with you there.
Yeah.
It's just more like I moved to Freehold and right before COVID, so like 2020, we're in the kid phase, so brain timeline makes no sense anymore. But just trying to understand the community, and it took a little while, but I've seen a lot going on in the last year or two. Like things seem to be really picking up. Like I knew what the brand was, even though like I kind of said, I didn't really know a lot. I still kind of knew what it was. Mm-hmm. So like something is triggering, and like something seems like it's actually growing more and more as you guys continue.
It's slow, and the thing I can always say, and this goes for anything, it only takes time.
Yeah,
like, it really does. It goes for every single scenario, and it's a struggle of ours in a sense that, okay, if it takes time and people don't find us out until home game number 10 out of 10, then it sucks, but that's better.
Yeah.
That's better than 0 out of 10.
Well, that's what I was going to say too.
So,
like the short season, like you said, it's tough being on the administration end, but it's also tough with the fans because there's a downtime. And,
it's a lot.
But I'm sure the amp up must be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it's a pro and a con. There's trade-offs to it of, okay, we've got a few hundred people that are like, okay, I've been waiting for 9 months for this. Like, I'm so excited to get back. And then you might lose some people because they just completely forget about it. They could have had the greatest time with their kid ever. But if we're not keeping engaged in the community throughout those 9 months, it's something that we have to do a better job of. But June 7th, it's our first ever men's and women's doubleheader. Okay. So it'll be really cool to kind of, see them both at the same time. I was just speaking to somebody this morning, and they were like, do you have any pictures of the men's and the women's team together? And I was like, no, but that would be awesome. Because they practice at 2 completely separate facilities. If one of them's home, it's a high chance the other team is away. So they don't really compete at the same time. We do a few events that we are still working on to try and kind of engage more crossover. We had a team breakfast at a team partner, Chick-fil-A in Eatontown, just this past week. So we had a few of them all out together, which was nice to obviously show face and intermingle. And they've grown up in the soccer space the past 15, 20 years in Monmouth, Ocean County. So odds are they probably already know each other. But again, these Gen Zers, they just don't interact too much. You could force somebody to stand right next to each other and they won't even bat an eye, So it's so interesting to just see how people at this age interact. I say it even though I'm a part of it, but
I still get looped into millennial. I'm not even sure where I fall somewhere in there. Like I always say, like I joke that my dad brought me up learning like Tandy computers. I'm dating myself, but like we got like my generation, like early 80s, we kind of got like the best of everything. So we kind of avoided the technology complete overload, but we still got enough that we can like, talk about the stuff in the back, on the behinds.
I was early 2000s. I had some pre-iPhone and things like that. So still a sense of, I don't know what you call it.
It is funny watching kids do the rotary phone though.
Yeah. What is
in our grandma's houses. So what else is going on? I know I want to highlight for sure. I was talking about the chambers earlier, and shout out to both Chambers of Commerce and Monmouth County. We've been having some great events lately.
Yeah, totally.
Hence why this happened. You had been. I don't think it's jumping the gun at all. It's up to you, but. Highlighting the event that you're gonna kind of do with the chamber, multi-chamber.
So again, mentioning kind of the theme nights that we talked about earlier, we try to figure out different ways that we can engage different parts of our community. It's not just the standard, okay, you like soccer, that means you have to come to this. Okay, you could have played baseball or basketball growing up. You're still a sports fan. It's entertainment. It's not this niche thing that, I don't like soccer, so I can't go to this.
Exactly.
I guarantee you will have fun if you come to one of these games. So June 21st, the kickoff is at 6 p.m. It's one of our women's home matches in Count Basie Park in Red Bank. It's our support local business night, so it's presented by Amici Pizzeria, who I mentioned earlier. They're one of the best probably local businesses that we've been able to partner with over the past few years. They're in Atlantic Highlands. So really good pizza too. But I'll give them a plug. But yes, so we're kind of working on a multi-chamber event to kind of do like a networking pre-match tailgate, if you will. And then we'll kind of have vendor tables available for the event at the same time.
My thought process being, guy with young kids, the networking I think should be highlighted as
it's family friendly.
You said it was like 4:00
till 5:30, and then the game kicks off at 6 because we do some pre-match activities and things like that.
So like we can bring the family
it's family
experience, do the networking thing, and then enjoy the game.
When was the last time you went to a networking event and you were able to bring your kids? We talk about it all the time that you can't do it. Come to some events because you have to do things with your kids.
And for me, I was talking to my wife about it. Our daughters are 4 and 6, and this will be their real like first semi-professional, professional sporting event.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fantastic.
Totally. Yeah.
So encouragement to any parents out there that want to
bring their kids out.
Yeah, because you never know, it could open a whole can of worms.
We'll get those two on the field. They'll have a fun time for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's going on next? We have how long does the season go again?
Yeah, so regular season wraps up in early to mid-July. The women's team is a little bit earlier than the men's. It's an extremely condensed season, based on availability.
And travel, kind of?
Yeah, availability, travel, just things like that really put some constraints on us. So that takes us into early July, and then depending on how we do, fingers crossed, that takes us into playoffs in the later end of the month. So
that's a normal season.
Yeah. So it goes off. We start out in.
Always goes so quick.
If you win your division, you play the other teams on the East Coast, things like that. The men's national final is at FC Dallas's facility out in Texas, and then the women's side of things is at Oklahoma State University because the league headquarters are in Oklahoma City. Did I say Oklahoma State or Oklahoma City University?
I think you said City.
It's Oklahoma State. It's at Oklahoma State.
I'm trying to follow along as best as I can. We'll check the transcript.
But yeah, the league headquarters are all based out of Oklahoma City. So we have our annual conference that we go to in January, and it's a fun time. You get to.
Not much going on at all.
No. In Oklahoma City, I will say there was
busy at all.
There was this one really cool. I had never been to a dueling piano bar before, and it was out of this world. Like really cool. Place is packed. You've got these high chairs like this. You can't move at all, and it's like, okay, I'm hanging out with my friends from Colorado while my friends from New York City are right here, and there's 150 teams. There's so many people that you get to meet and interact with and just share business ideas and tactics and what works well for you and what doesn't here. Just because one team is playing in 90-degree weather all summer and one is out in Portland, Oregon, we're all doing the same thing. It's how can we help each other and share ideas to help us all grow.
That's cool. So it's like an active community.
Yeah, 100%. I keep in touch with some of the teams all the way across the country.
The reason I'm doing I'm going to be doing all these conversations with people is because I just don't know. I'm curious about it. Like, I've always kind of been in like a sports mentality of loving sports, but never really like being actively involved in it.
Yeah.
And I think like showcasing that stuff and all the documentaries and things that have been like out there and like the growing nature of the sport, I think a lot of people are going to be more intrigued about it.
Yeah,
I think you're just hitting the stride at the right time.
It's the tip of the iceberg.
Personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And with 2026, the World Cup coming, we're really hoping to kind of ride the coattails of that. Obviously, there's going to be so much going on next summer.
Monmouth County too.
Monmouth County.
We joke around in the chambers, but the Netflix stuff happening and like just the fact that we're Monmouth County strong.
It's the place to be. It's the place to be right now. We're Hollywood 2.0. So it's awesome.
So we'll see. I'll check in with you a bunch of times. But episode 100, who knows? Like, who knows who I'll be interviewing at that point?
Exactly.
Hopefully. So I guess what's next? I know I kind of asked that, but like as far as the players and stuff like that, like how do you handle player management, things like that? Like how do you attract players of all ages, groups?
It's tough.
Men's, women's.
Yeah, so I guess I can go into the demographic of the player, I guess, because these are things that people don't think about, No,
not at all. I mean, for me.
So it's like, okay, how do we get these players?
Yeah. I saw the podcast that you did in the place where we are. I thought that was very informative, and they seemed it seems like everybody really enjoys what they're doing.
Yes. On the men's side, the median average is kind of in the 21, 22 kind of range. So you either have your late kind of college graduates or people that are already graduating that are looking for a chance to be able to go pro. That's a big one as well. The women's side, on our team at least, is a little bit younger. They are probably, I'd say, closer to 20 to 21 is about the average age. But they're both awesome groups, and we're proud to be able to say since, 2018, we've been able to put, I joked with you, I think I mentioned this, I got to find the exact number and do some research, just having the time of the day. This is an off-season project, but the exact number of people we've had go from FC Monmouth to go pro,
Yeah,
so the numbers right there, it's between 20 and 30 players right now that we've had go on and play in Gibraltar, Spain, Portugal, Romania. We've had people in Taiwan, all the way out in Asia, and Mexico, South America, you name it. Like, we've had people that have gone from Monmouth County and are representing the county across the world, So it's really cool to be able to say that. On the women's side, since we've only been going for 1 year, pretty much our entire group last year is returning, plus a few new and old faces. But some of the younger ones, they're really promising, and they're all a great group of people. But we could potentially be, especially as the women's sports side of things grows and there's more pro teams popping up in the areas, there's more opportunities for people to go pro. Sure. And we could see our first FC Monmouth women's players, I'd say, in probably maybe 2-3 years go pro as well. From most of them are all Monmouth Ocean County as well. So it's really fantastic. Awesome to say.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you. So like you have kind of a diverse group of geographically brought together players, right? So obviously you want to pull on local as much as possible, but like in reality it's open. So how does that work? Like what's the draw to get players to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of recruiting. It's a lot of, you wouldn't believe it, but it's a lot of word of mouth of, okay, if we had a player that played with us last year and had a really good experience, hey, my friend that I grew up with that might be playing at a different college than me right now, or he went to play abroad and it's not really working out, can he come play with us right now? It is a lot of word of mouth. It's also at the same time a lot of research and things like that.
Like scouting.
Yeah, it's a lot of scouting we go to. So in the fall and the spring when there's college games involved, I try to make it out mostly to support our guys or girls that were playing for us previously or are going to be playing for us. Sure. But at the same time, if I'm at a game and I see someone good, I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah, of course.
Is
that part of your job too?
Yeah,
like
totally.
An eye for talent?
Yeah, totally. I try to say cool. So. So our women's program, a lot of them already grew up kind of playing together. So they're kind of just a big bunch of pretty much childhood friends. So that side was our coaches do a really good job, and it's really easy to grab them, and they're a part of the team instantly, and it's simple. Where on the men's side, it's a lot more scattered out. We've had people all the way from Jersey City as far south as Egg Harbor, Cape May, come all the way up to either try out to play for us or are playing for us.
But it's pretty spread out.
It's cool, yeah. And then there's some other teams in the area that offer housing as well, and they're bringing in people from all the way across the world, and we're competing against someone from Ghana or Portugal, and it's like, okay, this is a serious level of talent that A, we're bringing in, and B, that we're going up against that people don't realize, and it's not just this kind of Sunday beer league, if you will.
Yeah. I think there's sometimes just a general misconception of like what that is, and I think that's the vibe that I got out of everything you guys have been doing. The organization's been doing is like you look at as soon as you look at it, it looks professional. It looks like ready to jump into that league, like proud of yourself mentality. It's not just like recreational. It's like this is the next steps for some people.
And I'll say it's honestly sometimes if you're not a soccer fan, you can't tell the difference in the quality on the field versus,
coming from a person from outside perspective.
Yeah, but it's what we try to do off the field that again provides that professional experience at the same time. Whether it's we have obviously you can grab your gear at the field and go to our concession stand and grab food. We have awesome groups that we're able to bring in that we offer concessions as a chance for them to fundraise for their kind of local communities.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
We have we have some groups that come in and they're bringing the trays up into the stands and they're selling food and they're tossing these things out. And everybody that's coming is like, this is awesome. Like, you can't go to a movie theater this day and age and get front row kind of service. So it's amazing in that sense too. Of it's unique in a sense, but in a good way.
That's fantastic. So we have the event coming up. Your season is kicked off.
Yes.
The season ends again.
Around early July, it will be the end of regular season,
and then
we'll be in playoff contention. We'll be going through. So on the women's side, since there's so many teams, they regionalize every single playoff round, and you go to a neutral site every step of the way that you go from first round all the way through the final. But the regional sites rotate every single year. So the winner of our division next year, 2026, has the chance to host everybody in the East Coast for the women's side of things. So I joke with our coaches. I'm like, okay, this is kind of a trial year, inaugural expansion team season. next year we want to win.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
I want to win now, but we want to
Yeah,
win
of
next year.
course.
And then on the men's side,
But it's plotting and planning. And growing the team.
And then on the
completely
men's side, it's pretty standard higher seed hosts. So if we're off to a good start right now. I'm not going to get ahead of myself because that's a mistake that I always learned that I did do when I was young. I was like, oh man, we've got I say it every year. I'm like, we've got a really good team. We're going to be really good. And then if it just tanks, it's like, oh, I can't believe I said that.
I told you, man, I'm a lifelong Mets fan. So.
Yeah.
it's not comparable.
We talked about the Knicks.
Yeah. And well, that's what I was going to say too. Like, look at a team that has built itself over time and nobody believes in, but like no one really.
Once it got good, it exploded.
Focused on.
Yep, because everybody's been waiting for it so long.
Every team, if you notice, in the finals has a Knick player of recent, 3-4 years?
Yeah. So I think a playoff push would help us as well. We've made the playoffs a few years, but we've never hosted a playoff game before.
That'd be fantastic.
It would be a very awesome experience that I think it's a goal of mine, probably.
You said the World Cup is 20...
Yeah, so the World Cup is 2026, so that's
right?
Next year.
Yeah.
So it's a very big deal with
Imagine that.
The final being right in MetLife, 45 minutes down the road.
That'd be fantastic.
Having a playoff game at the same time of year.
All right, no pressure.
Yeah,
no pressure at all. The one question I was trying to think of earlier, I think we talked about this offline, is like, so how does the location of teams work? Like, is there one per county? Is there one per state? Like, is there where regional? Like, do you have competition in New Jersey?
Yeah.
How far out do you go? And
so we pretty much have. We can have in-state competition. There's teams in different leagues that we compete against, but the ones in our league, I'm not saying there's a written rule that says there's one per every county, but it's kind of what it kind of sticks to.
Logistics.
You try to keep it spread out, and it's like these, I don't know if you want to say fake territory rights, but people kind of have their say of, why is there going to be a team 2 minutes down the road when we're already doing something better, you know?
I used to work with health centers. I still do.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's a very odd comparison, but they were like region by region. And then when you cross into other regions, especially with federal funding and things like that, like it just conflicts kind of happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always interesting to see, like,
it's in every business.
So what was the next closer? You don't have to do it by name, but how far out is the next team in New Jersey?
I'd say we have teams as close as half hour to 45 minutes as us, but and then we have teams that we're traveling as far as 2-3 hours to get to be able to compete.
What's the farthest you go?
Oh, God.
Florida?
No. The farthest I've ever been personally, we went out real west PA for one game, and it was crazy.
Pennsylvania is big.
Yeah, you don't realize
how big Pennsylvania is.
A good story I have is, I'll go back to my undergrad days. My freshman year of college at UMass, our hockey team went to the national championship game, and me and my buddies, we said, okay, if they win the semifinal, we're going on like a day's notice. 10-hour drive, and then it's just you go down, you go through New York City, and you're just across, and it pulls up on the GPS. Next turn in 390 miles, and we're like, oh my God.
Just keep going straight.
So it wasn't that far, but we went pretty far west in PA.
It can be, once you're about 2 hours in, you're like,
you're in the middle, in the middle of nowhere, and I think it was downpouring rain. There was a tornado warning. Like,
welcome to Pennsylvania.
Right.
No offense, Pennsylvania.
Things that you don't.
I spent a long time in Pennsylvania,
but we've gone that far. That my first year when we lost in the conference finals of our playoffs, we would have had the chance to go down to the Baltimore, D.C. area for the next round, things like that. So it's always been a goal of mine to do some kind of team travel, do I don't want to say a real long charter bus ride, but it would be fun, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good experience. Get the guys on a flight or something. Yeah. So the potential's there, and we've got a really good group to do so. I mentioned regional playoffs. On the women's side, their regional final is in the Niagara Falls kind of area this year, so that would be a fun trip as well. Go up to Canada for a quick trip, but that's, again, we've got a big long season to get through first. So it's all fun and games until it comes down to it, and it can get really serious really quick. So again, just thinking about the business side, these are things that you don't think of. Okay, we advance in the playoffs, we have to come up with group travel for 30 people on 5 days notice. You know, these are real life scenarios that you don't think of. And at this level, you brought up your nonprofit work, which I really admire, because I again joke that we're a fake nonprofit. We're everything that we.
It has that vibe.
We're everything that
not
everything.
the fake part, but
everything that we earn.
I know you're probably not registered as a
a
.org, but
we give back to our community.
Yeah, I seen that.
I see that, and there's many instances that we could have just taken money and put it towards something else, but why do that when you can enhance your game day experience and do another giveaway item or get more gear for the players?
I'm glad you said it like that, because that's kind of what I wanted to wrap this up to a point. And two questions. The first one is how do you go back to the focus on the fun of it and get all the other stuff off your mind? Like how is the experience is it a stadium, or is it how do you do you have music involved with the players coming out? How do you get the fans
totally so
amped up for these games?
I'd consider it a stadium experience. The capacity on paper is 1,600 people.
I apologize that I've not visited.
No, you're good. It's all good.
I want to.
We're going to
come to that event.
We'll get you there. That'll be fun. Strong. So capacity 1,600 people. Our attendance record on paper is probably around the 750 range. It's Red Bank. Parking's tough, so we try to make the most of what we can. But at the same time, we make it a good experience for every single individual that's there. I
want to get the reels or the media stuff that you had. So I can put some things on the site as well.
We do DJ before the games. We have an awesome PA announcer. He gets the crowd engaged.
I'm obsessed with music, so I want to partner somehow with Brookdale Public Radio. I think they're the most fantastic thing in this area. Their app is insane. Shout out to Brookdale. I will be contacting you. But stuff like that. I'm always interested how music and media influences that game day experience or amping people up.
It's simple things that each team has their own kind of little twist. At the pro level, pretty much every soccer team has their post game win song at all the fans thing and sing and things like that. We tag along on the Springsteen kind of vibes of things. We play Born to Run when the players walk out.
Episode 100.
There you go. That would be awesome. You could stamp it right here.
Bruce.
And then it's right in Red Bank, so the train station's right there. Our goal horn, if it's comparison to a hockey team, is the train noise of it going across. So it's fun little things. That's cool. Little tidbits, I guess.
Well, we were talking about the Red Bulls, not to compare it, but we used to march to the stadium and did the fans do the stuff in the stands?
Yeah, so we get the fans really engaged. We have an awesome supporters group that you'll call it.
What are they named?
They're called the 732 Soccer Club, supporters club, I should say.
Supporters club.
Scarf is right back here. And they have scarves. They do custom jerseys. They throw the smoke bombs up in the stands. They're banging the drums. They're waving the flags. So
that's fun. My kids will love it.
It's a passionate.
I'll love it.
There's people that actually show up and want to support us, and they're not just there because their kids are coming to the game.
For anybody that's never done that, do it.
Yeah, I try to say it to people all the time. It's okay, you're sitting over there, and you're having a good time. But you can have 10 times more fun 50 feet away. Why aren't you over there?
But then the people that are on the other side are still having fun because of it.
Exactly.
And they're so amped up, and the crowd and the fans for this kind of stuff is always it just makes you so much more engaged with everything.
100%.
And I know I'm outing myself as a terrible soccer fan or football fan, but it's time goes on. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you're in your 30s and your 40s. You're not marching with a flare down the road. I mean,
never say never.
Never say never.
We'll get you involved.
I guess my other question was what is your being a young man, young entrepreneur? Let's be honest. Everything you're doing is fantastic. I'm enthralled by it. People your age, people younger, people getting into the sport, people getting out of the sport. What's your encouragement to come to that next level of being involved with the community part of Monmouth or FC Monmouth, and maybe just a little bit of advice on what you've been through and maybe your experience becoming basically a fan into now your job title.
I guess I give this same kind of spiel to every single intern that starts with us. I always say this job is your canvas. It is what you want to make of it. I came from, my family has a construction background, and both my mom and dad
I knew we got along well.
They were early risers and late sleepers. They were putting in 12-hour shifts a day, just really kind of putting in the work, if you will.
Sure.
And that's what I grew up with the first 18 years of my life before I went off to school. And I guess you kind of mold yourself off of your surroundings.
Sitting here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I know. I'm a big advocate for that. You are who you surround yourself with, whether it be friends, family.
That's a good motto.
But just the point of the canvas
That
is
canvas, yeah.
The people who work hard and go the extra mile are the ones who succeed. I'm very lucky to have been a part of when I first started, as well as now oversee. We've had interns go on to work with MLS, CONCACAF, United Soccer League, agencies in New York City. We had 2 years ago, 2 of our media interns were just at the same exact ceremony, and they both just won student Emmys for completely separate things. And I was like,
wow.
I know I didn't play too big of a part of this, but that was
felt good.
It was awesome to see, and shout out to them. Shout out to literally every single person who's ever worked with us, because again, just to the point that I said at the start, this is all volunteer. This is people putting in their time, regardless of what they get out of it. They're putting in their time, and that's what I really do appreciate at the end of the day, because again, you're going the extra mile to support us in our mission, and outside of obviously anything monetary, I want to be able to do whatever I can to support them down the road as well. Whether
That's
it be
a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the best out of yourself and the best out of
100%.
other people.
Yeah.
And
so
you feel like you're accomplishing something and giving back at the same time.
We started working with a group of students. We have a really good relationship with a professor who's actually based out of Tinton Falls, but he's a professor at Montclair State. And he helped us get involved through a former intern that won one of those Emmys to get local students involved. And it was great to see. It was kind of a culminating moment. Like all 3 of them were doing different work, and it all kind of combined to end up raising awareness for something else that we were doing for an awesome event. And I was like, oh my God, all you guys are doing such amazing things. And then on top of it, they're graduating seniors, and they're telling me about how they helped talk about the experience to get an interview and then get a full-time job and do all these things and move along in life and gain real-world experience that they're able to carry with themselves for their entire lives. So again,
you have to start getting some of those stories together.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, obviously we're a soccer team, but it's the stuff off the field that really makes us what we are, I would say. So
let's end it on that.
Awesome.
Great talking to you. Like I said, I admire what you're doing. I think you're just doing a fantastic job, and besides this conversation, we talked 3 or 4 times, obviously, but I think you guys are heading in the right direction, doing the right things, making a name, and doing good for the community. And it's a pleasure to speak with you.
Yes, awesome. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So I guess I'll give my plug.
You do your plug.
Yeah, you could follow us on all socials at We Are Monmouth. You can visit us at fcmonmouth.com. Once again, all of our games, I don't know if it's in the frame, but they're right here. You can catch us.
We'll put it up.
You can catch us right at Count Basie Park all summer long. Really family fun. And I will vouch for you will have the best fan experience at a local, cheap rate, all with your kids, all with your friends, and have a great time this summer. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
I appreciate you having me.
No, number 1 down.
The travel version. Yeah, we'll see what happens one day. But let's do it. That's it for now.
Awesome.
All right, bye, Monmouth County.
Boom. Love it. Good timing.